From members of our church about what it is they love about being a member of St. John's. And so I'm going to invite Marie to share what she loves. I've been doing some of them in interview format, but Marie, she's got a testimony for us. So I'm just going to let her speak. So please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What a blessing to be here. Thank you, Mark. That was really a great reminder of, how we are all the same in God's eyes. And Pastor, with you, was also a reminder that Jesus is the bread of life for us. It certainly has been for me. When Pastor and I talked, one of the things she asked me to do is say what brought me to St. John's, and I had to think back. It was at the time I was 22 years old, getting ready to marry and start my own family. And I was raised pretty much in a Catholic household, lovely bunch of people, but it just wasn't fitting for me. So we decided to just go all around, because denomination to me was just semantics, and as long as we were all talking about the same God, I felt, comfortable doing that. And in so doing, it was really kind of an eye-opener that I think you need to find something that feels like home. At least that's how it was for me. And from the second I walked in the door, it was so neat because people greeted us. And really hadn't had that at any of the other churches, and certainly not the church that I grew up in. So it was that simple greeting. And seeing how many of you people that are still sitting here today, which is just so cool, and I've seen many new faces since I've come back after my little hiatus following my divorce, it's really been neat to see that's still alive here at St. John's. And people were treated the same, just like we were reminded, we're all the same. The gentleman that sat next to us obviously just came off the tractor, and took a little time to come in and worship. There were young people and older people, and everybody was just feeling love, and it was kind of a neat thing. And then when we said the Apostles' Creed here, one of the things that I was confused with right off the bat was when we say we believe in the Holy Catholic and Apostolic Church, and I'm thinking, okay, I got to talk to Pastor Latus about that, because I'm not getting that. But it was just basically that I was taught, that word Catholic, meaning universal, really makes sense to me. So it was things, little simple things like that. One thing that I looked at while I was putting my thoughts together for this was our statement of purpose here at St. John's, which we were reminded of as well, that we're empowered by the Spirit, we reach out in joy, we witness God's love and help ourselves and our community live and grow. And I think St. John's has done a great job of that for a small family, a small congregation. We have some amazing, amazing people here. And one of the things that was really inspiring to me in the beginning was Pastor Landis came up to me and said, I think you'd be a great Sunday school teacher. And I thought, oh my goodness, me? I don't even know where to start with that stuff, and I've been a sinner just like everybody else, and I don't know that I'm worthy of doing something like that. And he said, just give it a try, and he gave me the tools and the confidence to do that. And that was such an enriching experience in my life. I did that for over 20 years here, and many of us have become very close family and friends because all of our children grew together. One thing I'm looking at, probably, your son one day, I'll never forget this. 5th grade, okay? And I'm telling us the story of creation, they had Adam and Eve and all of this. And he goes, Mrs. Fry, I said, I have a problem because we have pictures. And he said, I don't think this is anatomically correct. Do you remember that? I thought, oh my goodness, this guy's a weird, which he is. But it was a lot of fun things that we did. In Sunday school, I took the kids, we started a monthly thing where we went over to Phoebe and brought some folks over in wheelchairs. We did campfires and even services down at the farm. We did all kinds of community activities, and it's We all have the ability to share God's love individually, and that's a wonderful thing. But to come together in a community, to have organizations, to do so much, is really an important thing. And that's something that the kids really taught me, too. Because, oh my goodness, Karen with, and so many of you, I don't want to forget anybody, with the Bible school and things. It was just, for my children, and for me as a mom, this is our family, this is our church family, and still is today. And when I've been through ups and downs in my journey of life, and I've certainly, had some great events, and I've had some, made some mistakes and had some tragedies, but it was a lot of you people here that continue to love and support me, and that to me is part of our mission, as God's people. We say, it's God's work, our hands, and that's in everything we do. It could be as simple as picking up the phone, calling up somebody who's lonely, taking care of somebody who maybe can't take care of themselves, check in on them, get them in touch with the organizations that are around here. And I think the church has taught me how to utilize the tools that are out there to do that, which is really important. One of the most memorable events for me, too, was when we took the kids on a mission trip. They wanted me to take them to Africa, because I said, oh, and we had just sponsored the Lost Boys of Sudan. We had 3 really cool guys that had quite a story. We have so much to be thankful for. But I said, no, I'm not taking you to Africa, guys. Let's figure something out, like on this continent. And they picked at the time we were told through the Synod that it was like one of the poorest, areas in the nation. The Lakota Sioux Indian Reservation in South Dakota is where we went. And it was organized through the Synod, which I would love to take some other youth and their friends on something like that and get something organized to do that again. I think that would be super. It doesn't always have to be something that major, but that was really, really a big experience. And, it really humbles you, because I said, we're not going out there to, just be holy rollers or anything. We're going to learn more from them than they are from us, What we're there to do is show that God's working in us, and we're here for them. And believe me, not everybody wanted Christians to be there, because they haven't had, generationally, many of them have not had the greatest experience. So there were cases where we were quite embraced, and others, we had one of our groups spit upon, a white Christian person coming here, forget it. So it was a whole different eye-opener. Through that, you talk about food. We used the activity center to help some local Indians get ready for a powwow, and that was really fun. We made elk stew, like lots of elk stew, and that was really neat. And they prayed over every scrap we took out. We did to the north and the south and east and west. We said all these prayers, and the kids we were all kind of amazed. But that all happened in the oddest way. This is God, working, at least I felt it was, through this little humble person, an aha moment. I was volunteering at the elementary school, and in between classes for the Scholastic Book Fair, there was this neat Indian book about this little girl there. So I'm leafing through that. This one mom came in before the class came, and she goes, oh, are you interested in Native American Indians? I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm taking a whole group of kids from the area, in a couple of months. And she said, oh, then you must know Eagle Claw and Messina. I'm like, no, I don't, but I'd love to, And she hooked me up with some Lakota Sioux in this area, which was amazing. This man was actually what they call a sun dancer for that particular reservation where we went. And I just thought, how can that happen? And I became friends with Eagle and Messina, and they asked to do what they call a smudging here in the church for the kids, where they take sacred sage from the, it has to be certain from the foothills, and, they have the chants and everything, and I thought, yeah, it sounds great to me, but I certainly have to clear it with everybody, and we were able to do that, and that was really neat. And Eagle gave me 6 names. He said, if you get in trouble, keep this with you. And I thought, it's 1,000,000 square miles, what are the chances I'm going to run into somebody that this gentleman knows? And we did actually run into some trouble. My daughter was on that trip, Sarah, which was really neat. I'm sure you remember that when we got out to Two Strike. And we had driven these vans quite a way. And in fact, the one mom that was driving the van she was in fell asleep at the wheel, and she's like off into the tumbleweeds. And there's nothing there for a long, long time. And I'm thinking, where are we taking these kids, But we get there, and our contact from the synod wasn't there. So we wanted to get out of the vans and everything, and there's these dogs that were coming around that had what's called mange. And I don't want to go on and on too much because the focus is mission, but there is a point to this. So these mangy dogs are going around, and I'm like, I'm afraid to let these kids get out of the van. And then people would come over, and I'd say, oh, get this list that Eagle gave to me that I kept in a safe place. And I said, okay, do you know such and such? No. Do you know such and such? No. Do you know Mary Badhand? And she looks at me and she said, how do you know my name? And I thought, whoa, that's really bizarre. Well, here, she knew the whole thing. She helped us. She welcomed us. She got us, going before our contact from the synod came. She goes, how do you plan on getting these kids over here? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to walk around and knock on doors. She goes, oh, no, you're not going to do that. So she did her magic. And before you know it, we had kids coming on horseback. And remember, it was so cool. So there's ways that God works in us humble people to give us these amazing experiences. And certainly I've had quite a few of them here. It's one thing that we're told that, life is, there's always going to be change. The only constant in life is change. And, there's a lot of truth to that. But, the only constant, or the way that I like to navigate that change, is to have that constant of God in my heart and my soul. And I've certainly embraced that. Not always, I don't always, do the right thing either. We all make mistakes, but, I think having that and then feeling the love of what we have here, I hope that our mission can continue because we have an amazing church here that just welcomes everyone. And, I'd like to see some new young faces. Any suggestions we're always looking for. We just did some great thing. And going out into the community and actually asking the question, what do you guys need? And I think a lot of young people need to get their faces out of their telephones and Facebook and get out there and see, what's happening in the community that you can do to help. What's happening all over. And a lot of those things, through the organization of the church, I think are made possible. So that's